Welcome back, Internet. Keeney coming to you with a diagnostic summary today. This is 4th gen RAM, heavy duty. I don't know if it's in the 5th gens, but 4th gens for sure. Steering wheel, feedback, pushback, oscillation, whatever words you want to call it, whatever words I throw in this description. Put input on the steering wheel, and you'll get like an over assist and an under assist. An over assist and under assist, and the steering wheel kind of fights you back and forth. So let me show you this. It'll do it while you're driving. It'll do it while you're going down the road, but try to get an angle for you. So as you turn the steering wheel, so I'm putting slow input, just up, see a jump. So it kind of jumped there. I didn't jump it. It kind of jumped on its own. So now I'm going to slightly release pressure. Oop, it jumps. So this kind of jumping back and forth. There it goes again. It's not doing it now. So now we'll see if it jumps back. Up there, jump forward. So I'm going to let up that. It just took it out of my hand. So that when the steering wheel is actually like over assistant and under assistant in the midst of a turn, this is what we're going to talk about. See if I can get to do it again. It's a cool day today. Usually this thing is on this truck was pretty bad, but being a cool day today, I don't know if it's affecting it at all, but the only way I can get it to do it that violently is stationary. But it'll do it while you're moving as well. So there it goes, jump back. So that was not me. I just give a almost like a stop movement, and it just yanks it back. Anyway, there's going to be a few things that you will need to check under the front end, because most of the time this is going to happen to people while they're driving, like usually through a parking lot. If you are sensitive to it while you're driving down the road or like through a curve, you'll also be able to feel this kind of fighting you in and out of a curve as well. So be careful with that. Nonetheless, if you're driving, like if the wheels are moving, there's a couple other things you need to check to make sure that's not it. If it happens stationary like here, then we're going to show you what that issue is. But we'll go over all that next. I'm going to get this thing in the shop, picked up in the air, and we'll get after it and show you this quickly. All right, we're inside the shop. Truck's picked up off the ground. Let's go over some basics on the system design with hydro boost and stuff. So if you've got the steering wheel jerking and that's your only symptom, then you're probably going after what we're going after. But things to pay attention to. The order of this system is power steering pump, hydro boost, and then the steering gearbox. So from the power steering pump, if you've got intermittent pressure coming from the power steering pump, which I have never seen, but it's possible, then that should cause you to also have, at the same time you have the steering wheel jerk like it was, you should also have feedback in the brakes. So if you don't have any feedback in the brakes, or the brakes are smooth all the time, no matter what you're doing, then you're probably not looking at a pump issue. Likewise, probably not looking at a hydro boost issue either. So likely looking at a gearbox. But quick rundown on this. Power steering pump down there, right there. That is the pressure line. Pressure line goes to hydro boost in, and then there's a pressure line from hydro boost out down to the steering gearbox, which is enhance. That line right there, the one that's kind of loopy doing, little black line right there, that's it. So if you've got a power steering pump issue, you should also have a hydro boost issue. But if you have no braking issues and you have power steering, which we do, very likely you're just looking at that gearbox. But there's some other things that you're going to want to check too, because there could still be something else. Specifically, U-joints on the front axle. When the wheel's pointed straight, the wheel should roll like normal. Just got one lug nut hold it on. But when you turn this thing like so, now we've got an angle. Whatever that the wheels turn to the right, you're going to want to pay attention to these U-joints down here. These U-joints on this truck are smoked, so there's play in them. But that U-joint right there, as you see, let me get the light set up so hopefully you can see. So that U-joint, as I roll the wheel, will rotate. There's no locker on these hubs, so anytime the tire's turning, you're always going to get an axle turn here, and you can see that U-joint flex quite a lot. So if that U-joint is bound up, what you will have is a tight spot in the wheel. And so it'll be like easy and then hard. And then you have to like push through it. If it's really locked up, you may not even be able to push through with your hand. But anyway, you'll push through a hard spot. It'll be easy again. And then there'll be a hard spot again. If your U-joints are screwed up, so you want to check it on both sides. And if that's the case, so same thing over here, it's dark or whatever. Wheel spins freely on this one. So you can see, because the wheel's turned and turn it both ways, turn it left and right, just to make sure that U-joint doesn't have a weird spot in it. But usually it'll do it both directions. But anyway, these wheels turn freely in both directions. Tells me it's not a U-joint issue. So when your U-joints are flexing with the wheels turned, if you have a rough spot in there or a bonding spot, that's what will cause that wheel to bond. And you can feel that feedback in the steering wheel while you're driving and turning. But as we just showed a little bit ago, this happens stationary as well, and we can get to do it on the rack as well. So we're not looking at anything mechanical as far as axle and U-joints go. We're looking at the actual power steering system. So I'm going to start this up. It'll probably be loud. Actually, let me see if I can get back up here. Let me get this set up. All right, so truck's off right now, but what I'm going to do is reach my hand down right there, grab that steering shaft, and rotate that steering shaft, and it will, you'll see that bolt right there, it'll pivot. So let me try to get my hand down here, and wheel's cut to the left right now. So you can see as I rock it, the wheel is cut all the way to the left, but there's still a little bit of play in the top of that gearbox, and that's by design. It's more or less a mechanical torque sensor inside the top of that gearbox. I forget what it's called. We'll see if I can post it over the screen here, but it's a mechanical torque sensor. So if I start this truck up, what you'll see is, whoops, the wheel's all the way cut to the left, but with the truck running, I'll still be able to turn that shaft to the left, or as we're looking at it kind of from the back counterclockwise. But anyway, turn it to the left with my hand, and it will still rotate. That rotation that's actually happening is happening inside the gearbox by design. Like I said, it's that mechanical torque sensor, which is a weird, cool design. When that thing gets goofy, then you get the over assist and under assist. Let me start this and show you. So to the best of my ability, the wheel's cut all the way to the left right now. Like it can't go any further. The tire cannot go any further to the left. So you can see, if we turn the wheel to the left, there's still a whole bunch of play in the wheel. So like I'm moving the wheel there, so I'm going to continue to do that while you watch the tire, if I can get them both in the same shot. Anyway, I'm keeping doing this. Oops. I'm still doing this with the wheel, and that tire doesn't move at all. So all of this movement is being absorbed by that steering gearbox. Let me show you. You probably can't hear me. We might be doing a voiceover. Wheel to the left. And zoom in. And that's still pointing left there. So the two names for that mechanical torque sensor and that input of the gearbox, I've seen called a positive feedback valve or a torque metering valve, or some combination of those two. I don't know if they're the exact same part in there when you take them apart, or if they're part of an assembly. Either way, as you rotate the steering wheel, there will be a little diverter, like a rotary diverter, for which way oil is going to flow. And when that thing gets wonky, it will, over divert and under divert the fluid flow inside the gearbox to its own piston. And so you'll get that feedback in there. Now you got to be careful with this too. This is important. The parts these days, this is September of 25, and has been for a while. Parts are trash, like trash these days. The new parts, new gearboxes are trash. The remanufactured gearbox from the OEMs are trash. Aftermarkets are trash. Like, there's one company out there that does pretty good. It's one we're going to use. I won't call them out specifically, but I'm sure you'll see it at the end here. But we're going to swap this out with a whole bunch of other work that's going to get done as well. But be careful. The reason I bring that up is you might put a new gearbox on this thing and have the same problem. If you put a new gearbox on this thing and have the same problem, you probably got a bad part. Again, assuming your tires still turn freely while they're turned left or right, so you don't have a U-joint issue, you don't have a power steering pump issue. But this thing always has power brakes and it always has power steering. It's just that over and under assist when the wheels are starting to bind, and that actual mechanical sensor, the torque meter and valve or whatever, torque meter and valve is just being a little glitchy. I don't know how it exactly fails, but anyway, that's it. So be careful if you put a new one on there, does the same thing. You may just have another bad part. You may need to get a more expensive version out there. Just keep going through it until you find one. Yep, that's what I got on this. We'll swap it out and then I'll show you the result at the end of this. All right, down yonder is our new steering gear, buried down under there. I really don't remember where we left off because it's been several days since I filmed the last part, but that's a new steering gear down there. Got a new line on it as well. Let's go out and drive this thing. All right, well, this is super awkward to try and film. I don't even remember how I did it last time, but wheels are facing straight ahead right now. And as we go and we turn the wheel, you will see we've got nice smooth engagement. We're on a gravel lot, so it's a little bumpy, but I never get any of this pushback like we had before. Even if we stop, so the vehicle is now stopped, we were rolling forward, even stopped, if I just continue to push on this wheel, I do not get that pushback. Also, even if I start to let up on the wheel, we're not getting that same type of pushback. It's very smooth throughout. Now, if we're going to turn here to steering lock, because there's always going to be a little bit of pushback at full lock because of the way that mechanical torque sensor works. So I'm trying to find the mechanical lock on the wheel. There it is. So there's steering stops on the front axle, and when the steering stops on the front axle make contact, maybe I'll show you that next, the steering wheel will still turn. I think I showed you that when it was up in the air. The steering wheel will still turn a little bit. That's because it's actually rotating that torque sensor, mechanical torque sensor, I've already forgot what to call it, down inside that gearbox. And so that's where we're at now. And so so right now we can always have a little bit more turn in the steering wheel right there. So this is all just that torque sensor movement inside that wheel. The wheels aren't actually moving. The tires are not actually turning more. It's just really the steering wheel inside that gearbox. So, but anyway, you may get a little bit of pushback in this spot where you're making contact with the actual steering stoppers on the axle and you continue to turn the steering wheel. You may get a little pushback in there, and that's normal. So like here's just a little bit of pushback, but it's nothing like it was, and it's past the point of the steering stops making contact. Let me go see if I can get this thing positioned where we can actually show the steering stops making contact on the front axle. All right, I had to shut the truck off because it was a little noisy, but up under here, right there, where's my finger? Right there, the steering knuckle will actually make contact with the front axle right at that gap. So that's this mechanical steering stop I'm talking about. Right now, there's like maybe a 1/4 inch gap just sitting there in a parking lot. So when we turn the steering wheel, it'll take up that gap, but then the actual steering wheel will still continue to turn maybe like, I don't know, 45 or more degrees past that, and that's inside the gearbox. There's our new shiny gearbox, by the way. So in any case, when that is mechanically stopped, you may still get a little bit of pushback if you rotate the steering wheel past it. That is normal, but we don't want to have that steering wheel pushback while there's a gap and there's no contact in this steering stop. With that, I really don't know how to make a steering wheel video any more interesting, so that's it for this one. I hope this was helpful for somebody out there. I think I said this in the first part of the video too, like parts are trash. If you replace this and you still have an issue, if it's a little bit different, then you know that you're on the right path, but you may not have a high quality gearbox. That one's pretty easy to figure out which one it is, so that's a decent brand as far as I'm considered. Does take some break-in though, so be cautious of that. When you first get to it with the steering wheel straight ahead, it's going to be very tight, and after They say 500 to 1,000 miles, it'll break in. For me, after about 100 miles, it broke in and became much easier to steer, but it'll continue to break in. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for somebody out there. Steering wheel pushback, oscillation, whatever you want to call it. I'll catch y'all up in the next video.